Hey everybody, how's it going? We've got a new You, Me, and BTC episode for you coming up right now. We're going back to our roots, and our roots is hijacking other people's content and then commenting on ourselves to make ourselves feel better. You may have just heard my wonderful co-host's reaction here. I'm here with Daniel Brown.
Yo, what up, homies?
What up? And today we're going to be talking about Dotcom, who is the initial creator runner of Megaupload, and his newest kind of thing he's putting out, which is called BitCache. It's spelled not like cash, like cold hard cash, but like cash, like what you race after you watch porn on your computer. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his new form of Megaupload, BitCache, and then his kind of grand vision of the MegaNet, which we've actually heard of something similar before. I think we saw it at a convention that we went to a long time ago, people having the same kind of ideas. But we're going to talk about that. We'll get into that, see what he has to say. But first, we're going to ask you for money.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we like to do that because money, makes the world go round. So if you could send some our way, then we'll make the world go round. I think we could do it. Yeah, so I wanted to mention our Patreon campaign again. I think we did it last week, but we hadn't done it for quite a while since then, or before then. And the main reason that I want to kind of revive it, partly just because it's a great platform and we can use the support, but I want to focus on the goals there. And because there's the option to say, hey, if we make X dollars per episode, then we will do this. And my first idea for a goal, which is on the campaign now, it's a real goal that we will do. I haven't asked Tim yet, and so I guess I'll see if I get his approval right now, but even if I don't, I'll carry the project myself. Screw you, Tim. But here's my idea. We should, if we get $50 per episode, and it obviously not from one person unless you want to, but, you could donate $1 or $2, and then we only need, 20, 30 people, and, $3, we'll be fine. But if we can get $50 per episode, then we will do, for every episode, we will do an uncut, ad-free after party. So we'll record our regular episode, and then the rest of whoever's hosting will do a special few minutes, I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20, who knows, whatever we want to, an uncut, completely uncut, and ad-free after party. And here's the best part. It's going to be exclusively for Patreon supporters. So the only people that are going to get this, unless you use Kim.com's BitCache to file share it out, I suppose.
I swear to God, people, do not do that. No, I'm completely against this. All of my content is original and shall not be reproduced in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, if you do it, we're going to sue you. We're going to lock you in prison. I'm sorry. It's wrong. It's sinful. So definitely don't file share it. No one's going to because it's against the law. So it's going to be completely exclusive for Patreon users. So that's it. That's the plan, $50 per episode, and you'll get the exclusive after-party, uncut, ad-free. All of that can be found at youmeandbtc.com/feedus. All right? So you're going to give us a little bit of money for food. We'll give you some exclusive content. youmeandbtc.com/feedus. Tim, what do you think? Is that a fair goal?
I think so.
Right,
I think people would be very, very hard pressed to find something more worthwhile on the internet.
Oh, we've done uncut before, and it's been a blast. Honestly, actually, we've done live before, and it's one of our best formats. I mean, we still edit a little bit just because it helps the show go and sound better and organize and everything, but in an after-party context, when we're just hanging out and having fun, there is no question about it. Uncut is the way to go. And yeah, a few bucks an episode. The other thing I just wanted to mention is if you have an idea for a different goal. I don't know if, we could go ad-free in every episode. We could do special interviews with someone. I don't know. I don't even know. But if you have an idea for a goal, that's why I'm asking you, because I don't even know. If you have an idea, leave a comment on YouTube or on the website, youmeandbtc.com, wherever you're listening, SoundCloud. I might not see that right away, but yeah, leave a comment. Send me an email, daniel@youmeandbtc.com, and we'll consider it and get it on the Patreon campaign for people to work towards. Anyway, that would mean a lot. We could never do this show without our listeners. It's absolutely amazing to have you. You, me, and btc.com/feed us. All right, Tim, let's jump right into this. What the heck is Megaupload 2.0? What is BitCache and MegaNet? I guess I should say, what are those things? Because you said at the beginning, you said something to something about going back to our roots, which is, and roots can't is anything. So I'm not going to. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I guess to answer your first question about Megaupload 2.0, I'll answer Megaupload. The first one was originally it's a file sharing network website. I don't know if you call it a network.
Yeah, I think mainly a website, because they hosted all the files themselves, I believe. I could be totally wrong, but from what I remember, I'm sure I've used it before. I don't think it was like a torrent network. I think they hosted all the files themselves on their website.
Yeah, I think I can honestly say I've never used Megaupload. I doubt
it. I highly doubt it. I mean,
I use specific site normally.
Well, yeah, but if you just Google anything that you want to download, back then that was one of the first ones that came up. I mean, even a regular
BT Junkie all the way until they shut down. And they went down maybe even because how long ago did Megaupload? Wait, it says okay, it does say in here in 2012 because I remember when they went down because BT Junkie pretty much around the same. No, they went down. They were like, all right, we're going to get out of this because we don't want to get arrested. They were like, we're going to stop too. And I think it was around the same time. But that happened around 2012. They mentioned this in the article. The original Megaupload started in 2005. This article says they had a peak of over 50 million daily users. And then, like I said, in 2012, the U.S. government seized the site. For a while after that, the guy who created it, Dotcom, was fighting with U.S. authorities over extradition. Like, he wasn't actually mixing up with them because he'd just be dead. But they were trying to, because he's a fat white man, they were trying to just extradite him instead of just droning him. And they eventually got it from him, they say he eventually won the extradition thing. I thought he had gone to prison for a little bit. Like, the last thing I heard about this dude was he was having, like, a SWAT, or not even like a SWAT team, like a step above a SWAT team with, like, helicopters and all kinds of stupid shit, just going after his house. And then I think it might have been another guy who ran a piracy website. Either way, we're blowing up hospitals. They're sharing files. I mean, pick whichever one you want to stop. But, so he's coming back, and he put out a tweet about this a while ago that I saw, that, he's gonna be starting the Megaupload again, and he hopes to do that in 2017.
Yep, early 2017 is the goal, yeah.
Yeah, and so he's gonna do that, and then the big news, or the newest news to me, is he's also gonna be starting a mysterious blockchain power project called, BitCache. And I'm still a little bit fuzzy as to exactly what that means. I
think, well, first of all, I think everyone is pretty fuzzy fuzzy on it. I mean, that's kind of the point, is Kim.com is, not only has he revealed a tiny bit of information, but even that tiny bit, just apparently, I don't know a lot about his backstory, but apparently, just based on his reputation, it's hard to trust him or believe him about everything. He claims to have invented two-factor authentication. It says in here, which was created earlier by AT&T and publicly available work. And that's, like I said, I don't know him a ton, but that's kind of what I thought I knew about him, was that he was a little bit eccentric and would make crazy claims and get excited about stuff. So
yeah, I mean,
I think pretty much everyone's fuzzy on BitCache.
He's any good internet spokesperson or like a face of something, is he just stirs up stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He does make the point though that BitCache is not the same thing as Megaupload. It's something separate. They're gonna somehow be connected, but
yeah. So the best I think we can tell is that BitCache is just going to be some sort of network, probably for files, hosting or sharing or whatever, and it will involve Bitcoin micropayments. I think that's the main thing that everyone is excited about, is that it's supposed to involve Bitcoin micropayments and make file sharing easier, more profitable, stuff like that. So
yeah, he's looking at putting this together. But then the biggest news is this thing called MegaNet, which is the way people are thinking it's going to go with how it's described is as like a decentralized internet.
Yeah.
This article says mesh networks. I have no real concept of what that means necessarily, but I know I've heard the idea before because when we went to the convention in DC.
Hold on. Quickly, we need to get this out there because we keep talking about this article, and we've had this issue since we first started the show. Sometimes we forget to mention what we're talking about. This is an article from InsideBitcoins.com written by Ian DiMartino on August 10th, 2016, 10:57 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So that's what we're talking about. But yeah, that was a good direction, Tim. I'm assuming you're moving towards MadeSafe as a comparison for MegaNet?
Yeah. All
right, so tell us about that.
And I do apologize. I throw my apologies to Ian DiMartino and for not including you yet. I'm sure you're not too fast to get your name associated with my voice. But we heard about it. Yeah, we heard about MadeSafe, and we saw a lot of talks about it, and a lot of people were excited about, well, hey, like, we have Bitcoin, and it's all decentralized, and we have the internet, but, like, what if we had, like, everybody just supported the internet, man? It'd be crazy. Like, it'd just be free, and, which, yeah, I mean, it's cool if it works. I don't know how that works. Do you know what they mean by mesh networks?
Okay, a couple things here. First of all, I agree, like, for MadeSafe, everyone was completely excited about it and talking about it. But for me, it kind of seems like not much has happened. It reminds me of Ethereum. Ethereum has been around since we started the show, but it never really went anywhere other than just people talking about it. It never really got used for much until the past maybe 6 months. And then, obviously, we all know since then it got hacked, and got, kind of flopped a little bit. It got forked. It's still there. It still has quite a bit of value. But anyway, the point is, with Ethereum, people talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. And it took forever for it to actually go anywhere. And that is kind of where I see MadeSafe right now. It's been talked about for ages, but it's really, I love it. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I'm just saying it's still a work in progress. And yeah, so mesh networks or, decentralized internet is, I guess, in terms of MadeSafe, what it was is basically the file sharing part of it, or the file hosting part of it, was just where all of your files could be encrypted and duplicated and hosted in separate blocks all across the internet. And you would pay. You would pay to rent storage from someone else's laptop or something. You wouldn't know who it was or where your files were stored, and they would be redundant so that you wouldn't lose them, of course. And yeah, so it was a way to basically, and that's the analogy for hard drive space, but it really could be extended to processing power or anything else that you can put on the internet. Maybe those are kind of the only two things. But yeah, so it was a decentralized, encrypted way to share files, space, hard drive space, and processing power. And there was a token involved, so you could pay money for, as part of all this trading space or whatever. And from what I can tell, it's pretty similar here with the mesh network, with MegaNet that they call it. They talk about using your phone's unused processing power and storage. I mean, same kind of thing, right? You could connect your phone to the decentralized internet, and you could get paid a little bit of money to rent out your processing power or whatever. So does that make sense, Tim? It's kind of similar. It's just a decentralized way to share your computers, really. That's what any network is. It's just sharing computers or connecting computers. And when they say it's a mesh network, I guess it just kind of means a lot of computers sharing a lot of things in kind of a mesh. I don't know. I don't know.
Self-explanatory, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much what it is. And obviously, again, there's a lot to be seen. So we'll see. They do compare some of this to something called Demon Saw, which apparently has been around for a little bit. Do you know what that is, Tim, or have you ever used it?
No, I have not. Demons. It has a pretty cool name. I feel like
that's true.
If anything, I would just want to support it just for the name.
I think I agree. And the
I like
website,
their word too. Yeah, believe in the right to share.
Oh, is that what it says on their website?
Yeah.
I didn't see that part, but I do like their website just in general and the screenshots of their actual program. It kind of seems like to me just a different kind of torrent network. I don't think it actually is a torrent network because I'm sure they would have mentioned that on here. But it's just another kind of peer-to-peer, decentralized, encrypted. They call it an information sharing application. So, yeah, that's the first sentence here. Demon Saw is a secure and anonymous information sharing application that makes security simple and gives you back control of your data. Chat, message, and share files without fear or consequence. Host your own private routers or join public networks like Daemon Bucket. So, yeah, it's a real similar thing. It's a lot like torrenting. It's just decentralized connection, really. So, I'm just going off what I see here, but that's what it sounds like to me. And apparently Kim.com and the creator of Demon Saw have been spending some time together. There's a tweet, and they have their arms around each other. So I guess that's another part of the whole theory here is that they must be working together, and some of this, they might be getting ideas from each other and stuff. So that's certainly possible.
There's some canoodling going on.
Canoodling. One problem that they mention, which is, I would say it's fairly serious, but they say that Demon Saw is not yet open source. So, they also mention it's still a small community and a really new community, so maybe they're just waiting to do that. But to me, that goes pretty much counterintuitive to every single, anonymity project and privacy project that's ever existed. Would you agree, Tim?
Yeah.
It's not. So. I don't know if there's such a thing as being counterintuitive to something. I think I've meant to say it's just counter to something. It's counterintuitive, and it's counter to anonymity, and it's counter to privacy.
Yeah, I kind of understand that. I'm not necessarily just because something's not open source, that doesn't mean that I'm automatically be like, nah, fuck that, I'm not doing it. But
yeah,
it does, it lends something to it that it's open source and everything. But at the same time, a lot of that gets pushed a lot by some people in some ideas, some
Okay.
projects, and it's not like, yeah, it's good, but your thing still sucks.
You're saying a lot of open source projects are just not as good as
just because it's open source doesn't mean it's better. I mean, it
absolutely.
looks better, yeah, but whether or not it's actually applied better and built better, that's up in the air.
No, I completely agree with that. It's like, I don't know if GIMP is open source, or I don't know if Audacity is open source, but they have similar ideas, and just really just in that they're free, and they are nothing compared to Reaper or compared to Photoshop. And it's, open source stuff is often the same, where it's just a lower quality. Not always, absolutely not always, but it can be, just because it's, usually the first sacrifice is the user interface and the user experience. They're harder to use because whoever's creating them, they don't care as much about the interface. They care more about what it's actually doing in the background. I would say that that's a fairly common occurrence. I think I agree there, Tim. But so you're right. Open source by no means means perfect or good, or it doesn't even mean better than closed source. Except when it comes to privacy, I think, I could be wrong, but I think there's absolutely, positively no way that you could consider something closed source to be private. Well, I'm sure it's all relative. I mean, you could run tests on, whatever you want. You could look at as much of the program as possible. You could look at the people involved and see if you trust them and if you expect them to keep you private. So it's all relative. But in terms of what's provable, there is no way to prove that something closed source is really private. And that's the opposite is true with open source, because if you can see the code and anyone on the internet can go and look at it and say, okay, you are encrypting those messages and you're not sending them to the wrong people and you're not sending the keys to the wrong people, so they are truly encrypted, so it's a safe bet, right? Does that make any sense? I mean, the main use case that I'm thinking of here is messaging, which even file sharing is kind of like messaging. It's just really big messages. But the best analogy, Tim, would be our encryption apps. We've talked about this before. We use Signal for an encrypted messaging app, and when we were looking for one to use, I mean, we talked about this, where if it's closed source, then it's not auditable, and you really have no way of knowing if it's actually private and secure, right?
Yeah. For someone like me, though, it's just because it's open source, like you can see it, yeah. I'm speaking from someone who has a decent amount of ignorance in not only this subject, but also other ones. But it's kind of like as soon as they see open source, it's like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. It's great. It must be private. Yeah, no, it's good.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always get these words mixed up. I think we're arguing converses or inverses or something. You're saying that just because it's open source doesn't mean it's good. I'm saying that if it's closed source, it's probably bad. You're saying that if it's open source, it's not necessarily good. Yeah. So we're kind of arguing converses that have a lot of similarities, but I know what you mean, and it is true, especially for people like you and even me. I mean, I have some development and programming experience, but I don't know anything about Android apps. So if I was going to go look at the Signal source code, yeah, even I would have no way of auditing it myself, and I still have to trust people that it's safe and that it's private. Just like, if it's closed source, you have to trust the makers. But for me, I still trust open source more, just because I know that all of the experts in privacy can, and a lot of them have audited the code. Whereas if it's closed source, well, only a few people have access to it. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. It's way fewer people that have access to it, and I trust them a lot less. So, all right, guys, that was a little bit of a tangent, but we will be right back after this brief message from our awesome sponsor. Go gamble some Bitcoins tonight. It'll be fun. CryptoGames.net is an online casino where you can play with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Litecoin, and more. They've got your classic dice game with an incredibly low house edge of 0.8%. You can also try your hand at blackjack, slot machines, or the lottery. If you're looking for more than just games, invest in the house edge to share profits and losses with the casino. Try it absolutely free right now and catch the winning spirit at crypto-games.net. That's crypto-games.net.
And we're back from that amazing piece of ad you just saw, or just listened to. I'm sorry, you just heard.
Yeah, Tim. How long have we been doing this?
A little bit. I like to think that people see it all with their mind's eye.
Yeah, so
but it's whatever. If you guys don't imagine me and Daniel just in a room discussing the world, then whatever. But finally, we're going to get on to this, and what the author, the article finishes up with is about the investment in this new stuff. Because, as we said before, Kim.com is coming out with a few things. He's revamping or restarting up Megaupload as Megaupload 2.0. He's starting BitCache, and then he's also starting MegaNet. And what he's hoping with BitCache and Megaupload 2.0 is that he's hoping to get some backing behind him, and some money behind him, some people to support him so that they can start doing MegaNet. But this initial part where you're going to be putting money into it, a lot of people have questions, a lot of people have doubts as to whether Kim.com is someone they can trust, and or if he's someone that's worth giving your money to. Because it's one thing that, yeah, he's not going to scam you, he's not going to steal your money, but is it worth throwing some money at this problem, this issue? Because he has a past of saying things and then just not doing it or just not. Yeah.
No, you're right. Kim.com definitely has a bit of a sketchy reputation, like we've already talked about. But another risk here is just crypto itself. And the author here mentions that investing in any crypto project is kind of like playing the lottery. You're probably going to lose. So, and that's very true. We even covered this just last week, how we've spent time and effort and blood and tears and whatever on a ton of Bitcoin projects, and we have a blast. We love them, and we never really lost too much. But anyway, the point is, a lot of them failed, a lot of our projects. And some of our investments, Ethereum is on the fritz a little bit, and, Litecoin, Dogecoin, those are kind of the best, the crypto projects that have been around the longest and kind of have a decent community, a decent reputation. And even those, anything other than Bitcoin is either just a scam altcoin, or it's a project that is a good idea and has some backing, but like I said about MadeSafe, a good idea, it has some backing, but it's going to take a while to go anywhere, and that's something you have to consider if you're ever going to invest. So anyway, the point there is just that all of crypto is exciting and fun, but you can't be sure that any project is really going to take off.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's true with everything. That's true
with
any kind of...
I know.
No, I'm making a point. But, like you said, with it being in the cryptocurrency and then just it being in the internet, there's so many goddamn things you can give your money to in the world, and then that is just made even bigger by the internet and by everybody asking for money and just, ooh, I have a good idea, and then most of the people if you go out on the street, you talk to like half the people who want money from you. Some of them are homeless. Some of them are just people with bad ideas that think they're good. And then some people have good ideas and then just won't implement those correctly. And then like 1% of people have a good idea, will implement it correctly, and then will continue doing it for more than 6 months. For it to like actually come to a thing where you're like, oh, I'm not bummed out that I actually put some money towards this. I feel kind of good.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what the author's dealing with. That's what I guess anyone who's looking at putting in money to this is going to be dealing with. If it's something you feel is worth the money. 2, if you can trust Kim.com, because I guess this is 2 and 3. If you can trust Kim.com to even do it, because he does, if you're like, your whole thing is just riding on Kim.com, and like, I'm the kind of person that if I'm going to donate to this, it's probably just going to happen, and I'm only going to have heard of it because I know of his name. And that's not the best way to be making making your decisions where you put your money is, oh, this dude's doing it. But then also you have to worry about, he's going to do it, and is he going to do it right? Is he going to do it the way that I think that this will be used? Because, yeah, I mean, you don't know if you're putting your money into something, it's going to be used in a completely opposite direction from what you even thought it would be best used for.
Right.
And yeah, you just got to look at that. I think we need to keep our eyes on it, but that's also what makes this whole space interesting, is it is just everybody's just like, yeah, let's just throw everything at the wall and just see what works.
Oh,
it sucks for the people who it falls apart on, the people who get suckered out of their money, or just who put it in the wrong place. But I mean, it's a decent way of doing things, I guess, without having to have the government come in and say, well, you can't do this, you can't do that, but you can do this, and you can only do this because you paid us enough. So I'm okay with it. I have no problem with the whole idiot and his money will soon be parted. That's happened to me a few times, and I hope it happens to all of you as well. But I don't know. I could see it going well. Someone does make a comment at the bottom about it says that he fought the extradition, and they're like, no, that didn't work.
Wait, really? A comment, a user's comment. Okay. I didn't read that.
Yeah, sorry. There's a user's comment at the bottom by Dale. I will give this author's name right at the beginning. Apparently the appeal is going to be happening on the 29th of this month, August 2016. And because the judge so far has ruled, again, according to this comment, that the evidence to extradite him is plenty.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, the commenter goes on to say after that, where he says that Kim.com has to present some kind of new evidence to get him out of this. But then they also say, given that he spent over 4 years, $10 million, went through several sets of lawyers, and even started a political party in an attempt to stave off the ruling last time, his chances look slim, unlike him. But also, I'm pretty sure, I think he lost his wife or his girlfriend over this too. Because
that could happen.
They took all his stuff, and she's like, "No, I'm gonna leave now. You're just this fat dude. You don't."
I think that could happen. Yeah. Well, no, that really though, that's another thing to consider with investing too. I mean, what if he goes to prison? Are you going to invest in this? So yeah, I agree with you, Tim. Every investment ever involves risk, of course. I mean, there's really nobody really questions that, and it's even more prominent in the Bitcoin space, where there are every single day you hear about new projects, and we've interviewed all kind of company founders and CEOs, and they all have great projects and ideas, but so far most of them are just random little websites out there that might take off or might not. The only one that we know so far that is just that's really just made it is Bitcoin, and even that one is still new, and still you never know. So that's all. Just like anything, it's always a risk. You know us, stating the obvious, but yeah. So hey, the other thing about this investment that I just think is worth quickly mentioning is the platform. He's planning to use Bank to the Future, which is it's a crypto-oriented crowdfunding platform. I've spoken briefly with a few of the creators on, I think it was on the Tatiana show at some point. So I remember hearing a lot about that and talking a lot about it. It's crowdfunding kind of, but you also have to be like an accredited investor. So you have to kind of get verified, and it is for much bigger investments than like Kickstarter. It's not just a crowdfund, it's actual investing. So, but anyway, yeah, Bank to the Future is where they're doing that. And it's bad enough that banktothefuture.com is BNK to thefuture.com. They leave out the A in bank. It's even worse that their Twitter handle is Bank to the Future, BANK. I mean, if you want to confuse people, you figured out the best way to do it. I mean, it's hard enough to have a name called You, Me, and BTC. There's too many letters in there. But Bunk to the Future, Bunk, and sometimes it's Bunk, and sometimes it's Bank. Yeah, sorry, somebody should have thought that one through a little bit more. But anyway, all right, I'm just complaining now. So, anything else important here, Tim, that we need to cover, or should we jump into advice of the week? I guess the only other thing I see is that Kim is still currently running mega.co.nz, which is really similar to Megaupload. It's just another file sharing website, and it's alive. And I'm pretty sure I've downloaded files from there too. I can't say that for sure because I can never keep these straight. But anyway, that's another thing that is, as far as I know, it's a success still. Mega.nz. Actually, yeah, I'm looking at it now, and I'm sure I have used it before. I think I tried to pirate Portal 1 and Portal 2 for the PC through Mega.nz, and I probably got viruses. So anyway, yep. Anything else, Tim, before advice of the week?
No.
All right, hit me with it then. What do you got for us? What did we learn today, kids?
We learned that don't automatically throw your money at a personality. Speaking of personalities...
No, unless it's us, and unless you're going to our Patreon campaign. Then you throw money at every personality you see.
You drown our personalities in money.
Oh, yeah.
We drown our personalities in money, and speaking of personalities, I just had a talk with our guest from last week, Batty Three Shoes. Over the weekend, I gave him $10 worth of Bitcoin, and now he has about $100 worth, and he's been trading on Pullen.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah,
he's been day trading up to 100.
I mean,
he bought more?
Stuff.
Okay.
He sent me this text like 5 minutes after. He's like, yeah, like, I put this trade and I traded there, traded back, and I got it back, and I'd lost 12 cents. And I was like, that's how it kind of works.
Gummit.
But so we're spreading the word. Jump on that. I was just at a frat party. I saw him throwing down rap beats in front of people. So we're with the in crowd now.
Oh man.
As far as advice,
I mean, I thought that was your advice.
Yeah,
spread the word.
Yeah,
give
spread
Bitcoin
the word.
away.
Bitcoin. Get other people to do it, so then you can get on their coattails and ride it.
All right. I'm gonna take my advice from the idea of, just like you said, Tim, a celebrity or a personality. I agree that you shouldn't just throw money at them, but I do really admire that about Kim.com. I'm completely okay with just being crazy and excited, and yeah, maybe sometimes you fudge the truth a little bit, but if you can just make people excited, and as long as you don't hurt people, as long as you're not a dick, then I'm all for it. Be crazy, make stupid tweets about all this crazy stuff, how you're going to change the world. Sure. I mean, I don't care. Have fun, get people to like you. Don't scam them. All right. I mean, if he does take a lot of money and runs away with it, I'm not okay with that, but I'm completely okay with just being a fun and crazy guy on the internet and not really caring about words that you put on the internet. Trolling, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Be a troll, I don't care. Have fun. So, all right. That was fun. I think I enjoyed this episode. We covered some good Bitcoin stuff. It is pretty new, pretty fresh. And yeah, we got some good advice out there. Spread the word and be a troll about it. So, all right. Anything else before we wrap up, Tim?
Goodbye. Have a wonderful week, you beautiful people. I don't actually know, but I'm assuming. Give me money.
No, Tim, everyone is beautiful. So I'm going to say it just like I say every week. Come back next Thursday. And I really hope that this episode goes out actually on a Thursday, because the last 3, I think, have been a few days late because I've had some crazy weekends with traveling and stuff. And I do apologize for that in a way. I'm not really that sorry, because if you come every Thursday, there will be an episode. It might be last week's episode, but there will be an episode.
There will be one.
Anyway, so I'm still going to say it. I'm going to stick to my guns. Come back next Thursday, guys. Thanks for being here. As always, honest to God, we could not do this without our listeners. If you want to support us, head to patreon.com/you, me, and BTC. Yep, that's a new URL that I gave you. They both work. You can also do you, me, and BTC.com/feed us. All of the music that you're listening to right now is from John Stewart. Thanks a lot, John. We hope to have you back sometime, but he's been out living real life. He's about to get married, so whatever. All right, we'll figure it out.
Real life.
Peace, guys. Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.